Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another HYLN video. And in this video, we'll take a look at the board of directors at HYLN. In particular, two of the committees, Audit and Compensation, and this is taken from the Schedule 14A document from April 7th of 2023, and it reviews the information from 2022. The purpose of the board: they're responsible for monitoring and assessing strategic risk exposure. The S word makes another appearance. Primary responsibilities of the board are to provide oversight, strategic guidance, counseling, and direction to management. And there are four committees: Audit, Compensation, Governance, and Technology. During the 2023 third quarter earnings call, Thomas said, including engaging with a number of strategic and private equity partners regarding a possible sale or industry merger. In parallel, we also engaged industry experts to help us evaluate the market opportunity and competitiveness of the Carnot generator. We have decided, with the support of our board of directors, to wind down the powertrain business while preserving the technology for potential later use or sale. So if you're going to take that statement and diagram it out, you have the company, and it looks like they engaged with strategic partners, private equity partners, as well as industry experts. We don't know who those people are. It's not revealed to the public. But these partners, they're trying to figure out, are we going to sell things? Are we going to merge things? And they arrive to decisions, and the industry experts evaluate market opportunity and competitiveness of the generator, and all these inputs come to a decision, and the board supports that decision. We'll come back to this diagram in a little bit. The audit committee, they consider and discuss major financial risk exposures and the steps management will take to monitor and control such exposures, including guidelines and policies to govern the process by which risk assessment and management is undertaken. Reviews company's financial reporting process on behalf of the board. Audit committee also monitors compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. So we're coming back to this diagram, and going by that definition, the audit committee did a risk assessment, and they initiated that, and the company did it. And after all these people provided the inputs, a decision was reached, and they supported that decision. So I would say the audit committee prompted the action that was taken to take place. The audit committee is composed of four members. The first one, Roger, he served on the board for Meritor. Meritor was acquired by Cummins. Andrew Card, he has connections to the government. He also is affiliated with United Pacific Railroad. Robert Knight, he served as the chief financial officer at United Pacific Railroad. And Stephen, he is from Tortoise Corp, which helped with they facilitated the special purpose acquisition company from Shell to HYLN. These four people get paid $325,000 a year. In addition to that, to meet SEC requirements, they're audited by a company, and they picked Grant Thornton And for 2022, it cost them $468,000 for a grand total of just under $800,000 a year, just for the auditing committee. What is more interesting is the compensation committee. That committee reviews and approves the corporate objectives that pertain to the determination of executive compensation. So the CEO and the C-suite, they're incentivized to do certain things, and those certain things are reviewed and approved by this committee. I don't know who comes up with these things, but I know they say if we're going to do this or not. They have the final decision. They review and approve performance goals and objectives relevant to the compensation of our executive officers and assessing their performance against these goals and objectives. Administer equity and cash incentive plans. Now, most of their compensation is at risk. They're issued essentially funny money shares of the company, and if the stock price goes up, they make lots and lots of money, and a small fraction is not at risk, and it's given to them as part of their pay. But a majority of it's positioned around the company executing these goals well, and unfortunately in 2023 the environment changed, so they're not most of their at-risk compensation is not worth anything right now. But I'm going to focus on the not at-risk compensation. The members of the compensation committee are Vincent Cabbage from Tortoise Corp, again from the Special Purpose Acquisition Company, Richard Friedland, former president and chief operating officer of Cummins, and Mary, she's from Delphi Technologies, formerly Delphi Automotive. For this committee, it cost $255,000 a year. And keep in mind that these people, they don't work 9-to-5 jobs. They just meet a couple times a year. But it's a combination of what they know and who they know, because most of them have lived an entire career, and they're basically drawing from their experience as well as their connections. Pictorially, you have the company. There's Thomas Healy as CEO. Then you have this chief financial officer and the rest of the C-suite. They report to him, but the compensation committee influences what they do and how they're rewarded. So what goals did they do in 2022? From order of importance, the most important thing is revenue, making money. That's a good thing. The second thing is tied to the first thing, Hypertruck ERX orders. Controlled Hypertruck fleet trials building up to it. Hypertruck ERX design verification samples. And finally, launch facility letters of intent. The 2022 revenue, the threshold was somewhere between 2 million and 2.4 million. They came out with an actual revenue figure of 2.1 million. They did not receive 100% of the payout. They only received 63%. Hypertruck ERX orders, they had a threshold of 150, a target of 200. They secured 210 orders, and they received a payout of 100% of whatever that objective was. And I know you're saying in 2023 they didn't deliver anything. Well, that was 2023. We're talking about 2022, and they secured those orders, even though those orders never happened. they got them lined up and they got them booked, and they met that objective, and so they got paid for that. Controlled Hypertruck fleet trials. Threshold 1, target 3. They made those 3. They got 100% payout. Things are looking good. Hypertruck ERX design verification samples. Threshold 9, target 13, actual 11. They still got paid 100% of that, and they included a little asterisk next to the 100%. They said 11 Hypertruck samples built, which was below the target of 13. Committee approved 100% payout on this metric because it determined that 13 Hypertruck samples could have been built, but 2 were not needed, given changes to the test and verification plans. And finally, launch facility letters of intent. Did they make a deal with partners to actually make the Hypertruck ERX happen? Threshold was 3, target was 3, actual 0, payout 0. And they included 2 asterisks next to this. Management did not have sufficient time to complete negotiation of letters of intent. Hindsight is 20/20, and I would say that this is a red flag. They built those trucks, they had them ready to go. They didn't have anyone lined up to build these things with them. Going to the individual, they have company goals to meet and they have individual goals to meet, and they list 5 or 6 different things. I'm just picking the top 3. This is for Thomas Healy. Implemented company feedback program, established strategic, that's the S word again, partnerships, executed on industry positioning and outreach. John Panzer, CFO, continued development of finance and accounting team, worked toward development of a robust investor relations program, supported corporate development programs. Dennis Gallagher, Chief Operating Officer, developed and delivered backlog of hybrid systems for sale and internal use. That first item was actually done. I saw that in the 2023 10Q report in October. So this was actually done, and they recognized revenue on the hybrid systems. That's the EX, not the ERX. Evolved the program management process to build Hypertruck ERX samples. Secured 200 Hypertruck ERX founder program orders. Sherry Lance, Chief Strategy Officer, developed company long-range growth strategy. So there's some sort of long-range growth strategy that she developed. The public doesn't know what that is, but they do. Prioritized external collaborations, drove pace and execution of strategic goals. Jose, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's the Vice President of General Counsel, that's legal, and the Chief Compliance Officer, supported Hypertruck ERX founder program, continued to develop the legal team, created a multi-year compliance program roadmap. The executive compensation, this includes base pay with bonuses and sign-on bonuses. Thomas, 1.1 million. John Panzer from United Pacific Railroad Corp. There's like connections from Meritor, Cummins, and this railroad company all over the place. John made $565,000. Dennis, $811,000. Sherry Lance from Meritor, which was acquired by Cummins, slightly over $600,000, and Jose from Meritor, which was acquired by Cummins, $553,000 a year, for a total of slightly over $3.6 million a year. So when they talk about a burn rate for 2024, you have to factor in this overhead for executive compensation, compensation for auditing for SEC compliance purposes, as well as these two committees on the board. And there's two other committees that I haven't even talked about. I won't in this video. But the question that I'm most interested in is when they publish, and that's assuming that they're still listed on the New York Stock Exchange, when they publish that 14A document for 2023, what are the 2023 corporate and individual goals? Because that would be interesting to see, knowing what has happened. And in particular, I'm kind of interested in seeing what the goals were for this Carno generator. That's it for this video. And of course, thanks for watching.